Hey there, LioConvoy here. This time I'll be building the HG Gundam Build Fighters Miss Lorraine Rinko. Link to the kit is in the comments as always. Today we'll be talking about FeGhost. Yes, that FeGhost. As if there's any other one. I recommend watching the videos in the description done by Chuli if you want the full rundown on the history here. FeGhost approached me earlier this year to ask me how to just go on about her life. And yes, I said her. If you can respect the pronouns of Hitler or the devil, then you can do it for FeGhost. I told her, considering what she's done, to just stay offline and focus on her real life. Time passes, and that's when FeGhost contacted me again to pass me the Spoctor call that's now on the channel, revealing that Spoctor had a hard drive that had a child's nudes on it. FeGhost stated she wanted to pass it to me because of the guilt. This is actually kind of funny in retrospect to the call I'll be showing in a bit, so remember that. A point of humor, though, was listening to Manus' interview with Junkie, where both of them were trying to figure out who gave me the call. Gee, guys, there were 3 people in the call. It wasn't Junkie, and it obviously wasn't Spoctor, so I wonder who it could have been. Hard math there. FeGhost asked for a final call with me, where I told them that I don't want to see them around because of the actions they pulled in general. I removed them, and I moved on, only to have FeGhost randomly add me again. I responded by calling her a freak and removed her again. She then tried to add me 2 more times, so I asked what she wanted on the last time. This is when she made it clear how upset she was over me calling her a freak, and she demanded a Senate call. And I obliged. Here's the call. Alright, FeGhost, so what'd you want to talk about?
I don't know. Mainly, I, I
Hold on, real quick, in case you're nervous, all the other people in this call, with the exception of moderators and admins, they can't talk. So if you're worried about them...
yeah, I'm well aware.
Okay. So, go ahead then.
Yeah. So I mainly just want to like have, I don't know, just like a discussion about my my implications and stuff like that.
Implications.
I don't. Yeah. So
What?
like basically, you know, the whole sexual assault thing and that kind of stuff.
The what thing?
The essay thing.
Okay. What about it?
Um, it so like I don't know. I don't know who believes it or who doesn't believe it or whatever, but it didn't happen in the way that, you know, I initially planned it being.
The funny thing is, FeGhost, that you didn't come... Go ahead.
Hold on, like, before cutting her off, like, if you wanted to say how it did go compared to what you said it was, like, you can clear it here if you want, rather than it going jumping immediately to another topic, if that's what you wanted to say.
That's fair.
Sure. So like, I kind of based it off of my own experience with it, which is a classmate kind of was being very forward with me like during day hours at school, and that, I don't know, put something in my brain that just did a lot of damage to it. And I had another experience later on, while I had the channel and everything, where I was really high, and I was in a call with somebody, and they were being very, they were also being very forward, and I fell asleep on the call, and when I woke up, I realized what happened, and I had to immediately leave because it was very, it was very hard for me, and that kind of also messed my brain up too. And I, from those two experiences, I just decided to paint myself as that later down the line.
And you're referring to the story you told Ponder about how you were intoxicated and attempted to sexually assault 2 trans classmates?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get into the incongruities there in a minute, but the truth of the matter is, FeGhost, I find it odd that you're coming in here wanting to talk about that when you made it pretty clear in our DMs that you, after I removed you the first time, you sent me 2 friend requests. One you backed out before I even got home to it, and the second one was, what, a week or so ago? And your main concern was the fact that I called you a freak, and you didn't think I had sufficient reason to call you that. So it's interesting that that was your main point then, but now it's about what happened between you and Ponder and the nonsense that you spread about yourself. So any specific reason for the change in what you wanted to talk about?
It all kind of ties together, to be honest.
Interesting. So let's go ahead and get into it then. You are telling me that ties into it, but from what I understand, the majority of the things you were doing were more of using alt accounts to paint yourself as an individual of predatory nature.
Yeah.
These other alt accounts, did they mention the alleged sexual assault?
Huh?
The other accounts that you used to paint yourself as a child predator, did they also mention the alleged sexual assault of your 2 trans classmates?
I think so.
You think so? Interesting.
I have very bad memory. I'm sorry.
I see. Not bad enough memory, though, in some cases, but that's whatever.
Yeah, I also wanted...
Go ahead.
Sorry. I also wanted to ask, because you think that calling you a freak ties into it. I just wanted to know, like, from Lio's point of view, because I don't remember how you said it. What were you calling her a freak for?
Well, there's a few things. Number one, the previous actions just in general. There's the follow-up Twitter posts on a new account that you made after giving me the Spoctor call about how you didn't want a video made, which very fascinating take when you pass somebody logs of them admitting that they had child pornography, that somehow you didn't want that to get out. Very fascinating. And that, well, I'm not done. I'll let you speak in a moment. And on top of all of that, even though you've been told in no uncertain terms, multiple times, by multiple people in multiple cases, over the past, 2 years, we don't want anything to do with you by these people, you still send one of them an email. Fascinating.
I was told to send an email from somebody.
Don't put this on somebody else. Don't you dare.
I mean, like, I was going to them for advice, and they were just like, just send.
Yeah, and you went.
Send an email
and the first time you talked to me, it was allegedly for advice, and it was advice you refused to listen to. So you have the ability to not listen.
Could I ask though, even though the complaint about using that is still valid, is it somebody, like, what kind of person is it who told you to message these people?
I know exactly who it is.
Well, I'm asking FeGhost.
Mm-hmm.
It's somebody who I was, like, close to, and who, like, I don't know, had some loose connection to, I don't know, some kind of connection to.
When did they tell you to do this?
Like, probably like within the week that they just told me to send the email, I sent it.
Yeah, my point is did you tell them about the full situation between you and these people? Like, what did they know?
I think they knew pretty much everything.
Okay, what was their justification?
For sending an email,
Yeah.
just like clearing things up, apologizing. That was mainly it.
Did you know that they asked to not have any communication with you?
Not really. Like the last thing that they were like, the last thing Ponder said to me was, "Don't apologize, get help." That was it.
Okay, so you then turned around and was it Ponder who you sent an email to?
Yeah, that was the only person.
Okay, so what part of don't apologize didn't really click?
I don't know. I felt like it'd been a little while, and I don't know. I guess it would have been like enough time had passed.
Okay. So you also thought it was a good idea, is what I'm eventually coming to.
I don't know. I thought it was an idea. Didn't think it was a good one or a bad one. I thought it was something just to send out there to try and like close things.
Okay. I just wanted a bit more explanation on that. You guys can continue.
Well, a few things. Number one, I know who you were talking to.
Yeah.
Number two, I also know you're lying. You didn't give them all
Lying about what?
You didn't give them all the details of what you did. And unless this person is lying to me, which is a possibility, just because humans are that way.
I don't know.
Let me finish. Their last talk with you was not long after you were exposed for what you did. That email, though, is fairly recent, isn't it?
Oh, then you probably got the wrong person.
We'll find out. I always do.
Okay.
Well, the point is, you took issue with me calling you a freak. So, can you explain to me how the behavior you have partaken in, not only what you did to, Chuli specifically, because, I have my criticisms of how Ponder handled you, because in my circle, frankly, I think if somebody came into my circle, I would think and hope I would have the sense if they told me, hey, I tried to sexually assault people, you'd be gone? Whether I thought it was real or not, because we've had freaks come in and say horrible things, and we didn't sit there and allow them to continue. But more to the point, the fact that you harassed Chuli, a child, is unacceptable. And before you tell me
That's
you
something
didn't...
that I want to touch on later.
We will, but I want to be very clear here. I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. Because you've already proven that you'll lie about anything that you think will help you. You lied about yourself. You lied about other people. And just to put another pin in this about freak behavior, you convinced people that were your friends, that cared about you, that they cost somebody their life.
Yeah.
The heck is wrong with you? And you're taking issue with me calling you a freak? Is Gidget going to get mad because I called her a cat now? Is that how we're going down here? So go ahead and tell me. Let me hear your excuse for how you treated Chuli. I'm curious now.
Well, I mean, obviously it was bad that I sat on it. I didn't really follow people around. I was just sitting on things, and that was, while that's incredibly bad, I should never have like done anything like that in the first place. I didn't try to put pins and things, save for like that message and another time in a call where I compared Julie to somebody else.
Here,
And those 2 times were all that I can really remember. I don't remember shadowing anybody
I
really anywhere.
you might not remember that, but I do believe it happened. And the reason why I believe it happened is a couple things. Number one, I find it very odd, and always have. I've been pretty consistent with that, even to your face. That you sit here and you do this entire production to paint yourself as literally the worst of humanity.
Yeah.
But you still didn't want people to put it out there. So I do believe, without question, that you would tell Chuli the terrible things you'd done. And then when Chuli was in chats with other people, you would hop in, sitting there waiting. Chuli would know that.
Not really.
And you would try to keep Chuli quiet. I think you would. So if that's not the case, why would you want people to know but then not want them to tell? A bit bonkers.
Yeah.
So tell me, why the
I
contradiction?
agree.
Why
It
the
was pretty bonkers
Why the contradiction?
because over the 2 years, I was not like I was parroting a lot of the stuff that I said to myself, and I was so like scared of me in past tense, and just not wanting that to like not wanting that information to come across me. I just kept like shutting it down whenever it happened, and that was horrible. That I did that.
It's baffling
I
that you're sitting here trying to speak out of both sides of your mouth about that. You know, if this had just involved you, only you, we might be having a different conversation, right? I might be touching on how unwell that is. Because, believe it or not, despite my reputation, I do genuinely try not to make sport of unwell people if I can help it. The problem is there's a lot of unwell people that do deranged, immoral, gross things that do need to be addressed regardless of their mental state, and that's where you are right now. If you had just done this all by yourself and you had affected nobody else, we'd be having a completely different conversation. But that's not what you did. What you did was you dragged other people into this delusional behavior. You convinced your alleged friends, and I say alleged, not because I didn't think they cared about you, because I don't think you really cared about them outside the attention they gave you, into this madness. You convinced people, and I can sit here and I can make my comments about how odd I find it that they immediately bought it, just because by nature I'm more skeptical of stuff like that because of the derangement I've had to deal with. But at the same time, it's still wrong that you did it. Horrifically wrong that you convinced these alleged friends of yours that they cost somebody their life. And not only that you did that, but you sat on it for how long before telling them the truth? Come on, how long was it?
Yeah, it was 2 years.
They thought they had killed somebody for 2 years?
Could you, FeGhost, is it alright if you explain, because I've heard this a million different ways, and I would like to hear it straight from you. Could you explain to me exactly how and why you convinced these people that they killed somebody?
So, in 2019, I went to Toronto for a vacation away from work and the internet and that kind of stuff. And instead of enjoying my time there, I just lost my marbles. I blew a gasket, and I started. Well, I didn't really start it while I was at Toronto. I kind of had some like weird Google Docs in the back burner, just like talking about how I'm a terrible person, you know, and so all of this like self-loathing came bubbling up to the surface while I was in Toronto. And so what happened was I just told a bunch of lies, made a bunch of alt accounts, trying to
What kind
get,
of lies?
Lies like I essayed somebody and they were like coming to get me, and I was in this whole paranoid psychological break thing, and that ended up I don't know, either not working or not breaking through, and so I decided to double down on it over my stay, and the whole thing was gonna culminate in me taking my own life, and that was gonna be the end of it. But I didn't. I didn't end up doing anything because I was too chicken shit to do. And so, like a week later, after the initial whole psychological like breakdown thing, I realized what hole I dug myself into, and I had no idea how to like solve it in any peaceful way because it just seemed like far too out of like my grasp. And so I was just like I don't know what to do, so I just killed off this made up person.
Okay, how did that jump to your friends making someone kill themselves?
Because the made up person that I killed off uh had some interactions with Ponder and Julie and Clown, and they were not good interactions. I read back on them, and they, yeah, I have no idea what I was on. I honestly don't. I feel so bad.
And how long did this the lies about what you did last for?
The lies themselves, probably 2 years. Probably the whole 2 years.
And why did you eventually come clean about it? Like, what was the inciting incident that made you go, maybe I should tell people this was a prank? Or whatever. Like, it was a lie, it was this, it was that. Like, what made you finally go, yeah, I should tell people?
Purely making a video.
So,
and honestly,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, like they had all the right to. I was really like reactionary and everything to that for like, I don't know, 5 months after the fact.
Yeah, because I want to tell you how I see it. If I see somebody saying for 2 years straight, in private, mind you, not publicly blasting it everywhere, at least not with yourself, saying that you sexually assaulted people, and then you start like hovering around a literal minor to make sure that they don't say it, and then 2 years later when they finally make a video exposing it all, that's when you finally go, guys, I was lying. It comes off as extremely suspicious that it's a lie in the first place. Do you understand?
I'm well aware of that.
Because if it was something where you came out to destroy yourself and you didn't care where it went, that would be someone going into such a self-harming spiral, it would make sense. But the fact that you told people in private and then harassed them to stay quiet, and then turned around and said it was a big old, like, fake story only when it comes out, then you just gotta sit back and go, wait, why am I allowed to sit there and tell people not to call me a freak when I quite literally painted myself as one and put myself in such a corner where it's really not a good place to sit there and go, yeah, she's definitely lying about what happened, because it just isn't good.
Yeah.
Here's what
And now you sat here... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You weren't done. Feel free to continue.
Yeah, because now you sat here upset that someone called you a freak for things that you yourself said that you did, which people can't even 100% say that you were lying about, simply because of the context around when you finally came out about it being a lie. And then the stuff that you are on record for doing, which is harassing a minor, telling them a traumatic fucking event to then freak them out, and then a cherry on top, being in a call with Spoctor, hearing him going, oh yeah, I had nudes of a 13-year-old past my 18th birthday, and I'm now gonna keep this kid around me so she doesn't speak up, and you sit there and go, yeah, it's fine, and not tell anyone. You've got a lot of things stacked up against you here.
Yeah. I know that.
So would you say that even if we did take you at face value, I don't know what Lio's belief is, but if Lio sat there taking you at face value that you lied about it and still called you a freak for what you were saying, is that not a valid thing to feel?
I feel like as of recent, I haven't been doing much of anything.
What do you determine or define as recent? What's your metric for that?
Probably like past, year and a half.
Oh, okay. So you don't consider sending Ponder that email, making the Twitter account where you spewed nonsense, doing a video where you want to essentially tell your side and asking if it should be uploaded. That isn't, to you, continued freak behavior that nobody asked you to do. You think that's fine?
I don't know.
The answer is yes, you have done things in the past year. You have done things recently. It's why I called it out. It's why I just listed it off. Like the fact alone.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say on top of that, the things that you've done don't have an expiration date. There are people who could 100% turn their life around, but the people who know what you've said and done, especially to that caliber, it's not got an expiration date. It's not like, oh, it's January 1st of 2023. FeGhost is fine now. It's something that sticks, and you know that. That's why you didn't want Julie saying it. Or anyone saying it. That's why, even in the story, which I'll give the benefit of the doubt because there's literally no evidence either way, even in the story of you making up the assault stuff, like it's you even said that you wanted to do it to ruin your reputation because you know that stuff just sticks like glue. So you can't say, oh, well, in the past year I've been fine, when you've done nothing to actually fix yourself. You've only been skulking around in the background and then trying to poke and prod at people who you've already pissed off instead of moving on and doing something else.
Speaking of which, I have to ask. And I want you to actually be honest with me. FeGhost, I do. The actual reason you came to me initially, was it because you see that people take my word for things and thought if you got in good with me that I'd put in a good word for you with these people? FeGhost, you're not 12. An actual response would be appreciated.
Repeat the question.
Is the actual reason why you initially came to me is because you know people will listen to what I say, and you thought I'd put in a good word for you with these people you've hurt, because you made it very clear in other conversations that you missed them.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't know. Fascinating.
Well, initially I did come to you because I knew a little bit about I knew a little bit about the exchange between like Spocker and I don't know, you guys. But I mean, that was pretty much it. I wasn't expecting like a whole like revamp.
And then you got mad that I put the call out that you gave me. Why?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because I was hoping that it would be talked about behind the scenes.
Why?
I don't know. Probably I hate like drama and confrontation.
Oh, come
and that
off
kind of
it.
stuff.
I'm not going to listen to that nonsense from you. Because you, on one of your alts, or maybe your main, I don't remember which one you admitted it was, you literally spewed random threats at Spocker at one point. You don't hate drama, you don't hate confrontation. So what's the real reason?
Lio. Lio.
Yes?
Can I just ask one thing?
I'm listening.
If you hate drama, then why would you create all those lies about something that hasn't happened? That would create more drama.
Good point.
And potential trauma.
Good point. We'll come back to that in a minute. I
Because-
want my initial statement answered, please, first.
Okay. Just thought I'd bring it up.
I mean, I wasn't doing it to protect them.
That's not what I asked you. I asked you why you took issue with it. What was the actual problem?
I took issue with it because
Can I take a guess? Can I do that since you're struggling? It's
I
because
hated it being out there.
you hated it being out there because you didn't want people to know that you sat on it for years. Is that it?
No, not really.
Then what's your actual reason then? Because why wouldn't you want people to know some weird, abusive scumbag had the nudes of a child?
Well, I wanted people to know.
Just
but,
behind the
like,
scenes?
I wanted it. I don't know.
Where it can be covered up? Where people can pretend like they
really.
don't know? Because here's the kicker that I found out. Some people already knew FeGhost.
Yeah.
They already knew. So tell me how exactly keeping it behind the scenes would have benefited anybody.
I don't know. It would have benefited
Who? Who would it have benefited?
some people.
Name them.
I don't know.
Name them.
I can't name them.
Why? Can't or
I
won't?
can name them.
No, hold on. Can't or won't?
Yeah, you can. I can't name them. Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it would have benefited, but
So-
it would have benefited
Vague,
some
nebulous,
people's,
possible people that could have benefited. That you don't even know. You can't even conceive them, perceive them. You don't know. They could have benefited by nobody knowing that Spoctor had a child's nudes. And as such, you decide that the rational, intelligent, totally not freak behavior thing to do is to get on a Twitter account and shout to the world how upset you are that a video was made on it. And you didn't think people would tell me.
I don't know.
You have been in this community too long. You know how fast information moves, and you know you're being watched. You knew. Don't tell me you didn't know. I'm tired of hearing I don't know from. How old are you?
I don't know. I'm old.
How old? Give me an actual date. I know you know your age, FeGhost.
I am around 26.
Okay, I'm not going to sit here and accept I don't know and little child answers from somebody that's 26. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I don't know. Legitimately, I just like I wasn't expecting a video to be made, and when it dropped, I freaked the hell out and made a bunch of like stuff that I regret saying, to be honest.
Let's
like
come back to that in a moment.
I'm fine with the video being out right now, actually.
Two things.
Like,
One, why did you freak
it
out?
helped.
Why did you freak out? It wasn't you being put out there for child nudes.
I know.
So why did you freak out?
I freaked out because I would have been perceived, I guess.
You don't mind being perceived. Come on.
And it was my recording as well.
Yes.
And I don't know what. I wasn't really given any, any notification that it would have been used for that. So
I would presume you would
freaking
be.
out.
I would presume you would have had the intellect to know what I do, what I cover, the behavior I find unacceptable, and know I was going to call it out. I am not going to be the person who finds out stuff like that and sits on it. No, it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
And that child is still well, they're not a child now, but they're still under Spoctor's control. Because he made it a point to do damage control, and you and Junkie knew that, and you did literally dick all. Because when you guys talked to Spoctor about that, you knew they were still a child. And there was Spoctor. Yeah, I'm making sure I'm on the good side. Not a single thing from you or Junkie.
Yeah, I just realized that I was muted. I'm dumb.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I do have something to say about this. First off, I was in the call with you and Lio, and it was pretty. It was like outright stated about calling it out and making a video on it.
Wait,
And
what?
you're yeah, it was. And you spoke, and you and Lio spoke after the video was made as well.
Did we?
Yes, we
Yes,
did.
there was 2 calls.
You and I have communicated in voice text or voice chat, not counting this, a total of 3 times. One, when you first came to me saying you just totes wanted just advice on how to move on with your life. Secondly, with Peaches and I about the Spocter thing because we wanted a little more information. And thirdly, when I called you a freak. I told you off. And I told you what I'd do if you came sniffing around again. 3 times. I don't believe you don't remember.
No, because you definitely don't remember, because you were saying that it'd be fine as long as your name, as long as you weren't named as the person who leaked the actual call. And you also came to Lio about it right when Spock was under heat, public heat again.
Which he should remain
You also
under.
knew that Lio was already making a video.
I legitimately don't remember that.
And then after that, my other question, which I didn't ask because I was muted and I was dumb, was if someone's going to if someone's going to profit, because I forgot the actual term for it now, my words are failing me, but from Spock to not being exposed publicly, and then we find out that people already knew, and then on top of that, we have creators who are upset that it was called out in the first place and wanting to get big sedge about it because, well, it's hurting Spock's feelings. All of that kind of rubbish. I want to know, why would you want to be able to help those kind of people who will be which by the way, the people who Spock hangs around, they're literally all like commentary people, drama people, people who bring up things that other people have done. So they've gone round the circle before. They've called out people for much less. Why would you want to then keep that kind of private for other people behind the scenes who would benefit from Spock not being called out for owning the nudes of a 13-year-old?
I'm dumb.
You don't say.
Because then I gotta have to ask. You're saying people could have benefited, but I want to know why you even have that idea. That's not something that people just randomly start assuming. Like, oh, well, people will probably benefit from this not being out.
Because I know that there is like a collective of people, not who hang around Spocter, but if people who've had previous conversations with Spocter who definitely didn't need like the mental health damage tick that would have created.
The people who hang around, the people who hang around Spocter are people who see Spocter's content. They sit there and hold up. I'll tell you a story. The same people who hang around Spocter are the same people who will sit and call with him as he live streams him mic spamming someone who he mocked the abuse of. That's the kind of people who he hangs around. Not even talk about the private stuff, because the private shit's probably a whole lot worse, and luckily I didn't hang around Spocter all that much. But the public stuff he does, saying that people with dissociative identity disorder are hopeless cases of human destruction, sat there and go, oh, well, you know, if Emily Artful says that she was essayed, but she did also say she was kind of a bitch, so maybe she deserved it. That, you know, and many other things. These aren't people who sit there and go, oh my god, you should be really careful about what you say online, because this is Spocter we're talking about. And we're not sat there going, oh my god, Spocter's hella cringe, let's take the piss out of his mental health and tragic backstory or whatever. We're calling out something that he's actually done that's horrific.
Yeah.
And the people who hang around Spoctor are people who also do that. So unless you've got a whole list of people who, including Spoctor, who go, you know what, maybe we shouldn't call out this person who's done XYZ thing because we don't know if maybe they have some friend who probably would rather stay in the dark. No. This is somebody who has literally been sat there on record, you know, your record, sat there going, oh yeah, I'm just gonna keep this kid close to me so she doesn't speak out. Like, that's the kind of person you're dealing with. On top of all the other stuff that they do publicly, which of course is nowhere near as bad as what you brought over, but the kind of backwards logic here of going rules for thee but not for me, but rules for thee but not for fucking Spoctor, like, it's crazy.
Also, I feel I need to interject for a moment. You didn't want other people to suffer because of the mental strain of finding that out. So let me be clear. I'm going to piggyback off of what Peach has said, because number one, she's right. You know what I actually do worry about sometimes? Is when I have to communicate with a decent person that bad things happen. Years ago, there was a gentleman that was on my Facebook friends list. I didn't know him very well personally. He passed away in an auto accident. And I had to break that news to an individual I care very deeply about. That actually sucked. I didn't want to have to do it, but I knew if I didn't, he'd find out randomly, and it's better to hear bad news from a friend than to see it on social media and be completely taken aback from it. The problem here is people finding out that Spoctor's done this. If they get freaked out over it, let them. Because of all the egregious nonsense they have allowed Spoctor to do, uncontested. Spoctor's entire internet career is essentially making fun of other children when they were one, and then more so when they are an adult, taking the piss out of people who have mental struggles and issues, a la Birdie and their crew. And everybody in that group was fine. So my value is this, and it's going to sound mean, let them suffer. Because they can't excuse this without looking bad. And to be clear, I'm not a commentary bro. I don't sit on people who have like crimes, federal crimes they've committed. So in case you're wondering, it's been reported to the Virginia Beach PD as well as my own local PD. They have the recordings. They know what he's done with the real name. Whether they do something or not, I don't know. But you being upset that somebody who broke federal law had a video made on them is asinine. Egregious.
That's true.
Stupid. And that doesn't even cover like all the other stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that you're being accused of menacing a child when Spoctor was one of your friends. So was Junkie. Y'all were fine with him being around that same kid who gave the nudes of. Fine with it. And anybody else who thought that that shouldn't go out publicly, they need to be looked into very heavily. Because if you don't want to know of somebody you associate with or are fine with them having child porn, you need to be gone. Period. 100% gone.
Yeah.
But on top of that, let's go ahead and go to, since we have gone off from that, which I apologize for, but I think Peach's segue here was very important. Let's answer Lumi's question. If you don't like drama and confrontation, why keep up a facade for 2 years? Don't me. You've had 2 years to think about this. Actually, you've had 3. 4 almost.
Yeah.
So what's the answer? Don't tell me you don't know.
I'm gonna cut in real quick. You are not allowed to say, I don't know, or I forgot in this case. Because I'm telling you right now, somebody with memory issues, you will always know that your reason for doing specific things, especially shit like this. I don't like drama. And then you pull this shit. Why? Because I can make an assumption right now.
Let's give him a chance.
Are
to
you going to
answer.
tell me the truth?
Let's give him a chance to answer. Come on, FeGhost. What's the answer?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought I would have like died at that point.
Oh, so for you didn't mind traumatizing these people who cared about you. You didn't mind letting them run through thinking they killed somebody because you were going to be dead. Who cares? You sure you're not a Republican senator?
Actually, could I interject for a moment on this one?
Always.
Because, like, we could sit there and go like, oh, well, you know, if you offed yourself, it'd be better if you made people, like, feel better than worse. But as somebody who does have, like, suicidal ideation, and when I have, because I don't know, like, the actual word for it, kind of like,
Episodes, I
like
think
manic,
it's called.
like really severe episodes. I have actually gone out of my way to actually lash out at people who do care about me and stick around, because I don't know how to deal with it, and I would rather them hate me so it's easier for me to kill myself. So I understand that bit. I've had things where I've said like really horrible things to like Lio, for instance. I'm pretty sure you can think of a bajillion things.
You keep calling me a furry.
Yeah, that's my way out. But those kind of episodes don't last for 2 years. I could understand in a severe case, like I have actually like genuinely had the kind of thought, like kind of not like an intrusive thought, not the same as one of those, but kind of like a really super fucked up thought where I'm just like, well, Lio won't call an ambulance for me if I like fake that I like diddle kids because he does predator hunting, right? And I think I've admitted to him to that, just like, bro, this is how bad it is, just saying. But so I do understand the idea of like, oh well, if I tell people that I sexually assaulted someone, then they have no way, no cat in hell's chance of like looking through that to like call an ambulance or whatever. But it's the fact that I don't know what kind of state you were in when you told them or whatever, but the fact that it kept on going and kept on going and kept on going, and you can't be, it's physically impossible to stay in into that super high intensity state for that long and never have a moment where you go, I need to calm down now and I need to stop. But it was the fact that you were meticulous with it too. You would purposely be there constantly to harass people into being quiet. You would keep adding on to things. It was never like, oh my god, I'm really fucking sorry for what I did. It was harassing until it got public, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay guys, I faked it. And I just want to know why, if it was a lie, why would you keep on for that long? The heat of the moment I can understand, but that long, no. And I just wanted to interject that in because, like I know that you could turn around and say, oh, well, it was a severe depressive episode or whatever, but I've had those too. And I've never had it to that severe degree where I've never had any kind of guilt in my mind or anything like that, or it stay for 2 years to the point of harassing people. Like, why did you not just tell them that story and then block all contacts? Even that would have made more sense.
I think there were a couple times where I did try to block, contact, and then I, like, woke up next day and then I tried to resume,
It's
just trying to act normal.
It's because you liked having friends. And I think there's a sick part of you that enjoyed terrorizing them with what you allegedly did.
No, I really didn't.
Then why keep it up for 2 years? You know, I like collecting action figures because I'm an old man. I was born in the 80s, and we were marketed to until the end of time. But they're also just neat because they are the way they are. If somebody sat me down and asked, why do you collect action figures? I can't say, I had an episode for 2 years. No, I have a reason why I do it. I also have a reason why I learned how to use antiquated weapons that'll never be used in warfare anymore. There's a reason why people do things. Your actions go beyond impulsiveness of buying, like, a stick of gum at the cash register as an impulse buy, and this is calculated. Calculated. You know, I've dealt with people who have bad mental episodes. I've dealt with people who spiral. I've dealt with people who have suicidal ideation. I do my best to help these people when I can. That's not what you did. What you did was you sold people on an idea, you constructed multiple individuals, one calling you out and one the alleged harasser, acted out all of these parts, had all these different interactions on Twitter, convinced your friends who cared about, I'm not done, who cared about you, that they killed this person because they committed suicide. This isn't an oopsie manic episode. This isn't I'm having mental struggles and I need to step away. These are calculated, intentional actions that you committed.
Yeah.
Do not sit here with the temerity of trying to tell me that you don't know why you did it. This is the one chance anybody's going to get to actually get the real reason from you. I mean the real reason. And don't tell me, I thought I'd be dead, or I thought I'd kill myself later. As cruel as that may sound coming from me. Because if that were the case, you wouldn't have kept it up for 2 years. You would have come clean a lot earlier. So I want now the real reason why you did it. FeGhost, you have had
Personal hell.
Personal hell. How is this your personal hell? It was theirs.
Yeah.
So how is it your personal hell? And don't try to feed me some line. You've had 4 years to think.
I'm sorry, but I really wish I knew.
So it's just magic that a fairy did it.
No, I did it. I kept it up for 4 years. Not for 4 years, for 2 years. I sat on it, and I don't know why. I just kept wanting to sit on it, and sit on it, and I sat on it, and every time that something was budging out, I immediately just hopped on it because of just this like cancerous growth.
I don't
on the back of my skull.
Enough. I don't.
And I hated every single moment of it.
I don't want to hear that.
And
I don't want to hear that from you. Shut. Shut.
Like so.
Shut.
Guilty.
No, you don't.
Okay.
And the reason why you don't is because you continue, even after this, to still try to contact these people, to still post about them, to try to make an entire asinine, goofy, stupid tap dancing video where you show your side. So no, not buying it. Not buying it. I've given you the chance to be honest and tell the real reason. You failed.
If I could just say one thing. FeGhost, you do realize that nothing you'll say will make people look at you in any better light right now. You're better off just being fucking honest.
Correct, but FeGhost doesn't want to be, so we're gonna have to move on from this point of the conversation.
I don't know. I have been like as honest as I can be. Like I
Feg?
I don't
want to hear
saying,
it. I legitimately
I don't I'm
saying
I'm done.
I don't know is not
I'm
any kind of fucking
I'm done with I don't know. Done. 100%. You're 26 years old. This has been 4 years in the making. You had all this time to think about it and do it. I'm done. So, there's somebody else here. Who is it? Ah, yes. Let's see here. Make sure.
already done.
I'll get over you. I know I will. I'll pretend my ship's not Sink it. Like, motherfucker, you've been lying through this whole goddamn chat. Oh, it started when I went to Toronto. Bitch, this shit started before you got here. You damn ass well know that. I'm sorry, did you not make a fucking video talking about how you were fantasizing about raping girls that you made up while you were hanging out with me? Yeah, that was nice to find out. Cool, thanks for that, you fucking freak.
What?
What?
Fucking degenerate. You are such a fucking degenerate. I hope you know that.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
You are such a fucking
Guess
liar.
who's been fucking listening this whole time?
Yeah,
It
probably-
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you say any other word?
The notion
Dumbass.
that you want to talk about, like, oh, I can't remember what I did, but here are the facts about what I did. Motherfucker! Like, at least when I
have
don't
memory
remember
issues.
shit, I have to, like, go to my friends and be like, hey, did this happen? I don't actually remember if this happened. And they will tell me if it happened or not. The fuck are you doing? You're admitting to us that you can't remember what the hell you did, and then you're trying to detail us what you did. Does that make a lot of sense? No.
Not really.
You know what? I'm not entirely surprised that, like a perpetrator of abuse doesn't remember all the abuse they inflicted on their victims. But guess what? I'm one of the victims and I remember everything you put me through and why you fucking did it.
Same here.
Like, the nerve of being all like, oh, I was a bad place. I was planning on killing myself. Motherfucker, what the hell do you think your actions and what you made us believe wanted us to do? Do you not think that maybe we were lying awake at night, wondering about, do I have any right to exist? Because I'm gonna tell you flat out, that was the case, and that's all your fault. So, go fuck yourself.
I have issues with my memory because of trauma. No thanks to you because you added on to that. Thank you, by the way.
Oh yeah, we all got memory issues because of what you did.
And we
So-
also have mental health problems.
Because
Can
of
we
Even more
introduce-
so.
Should we
But-
introduce ourselves just so everyone's on the same page?
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Chuli. I used to go by Dulu. I'm the one that made the original video on FeGhost. I was her youngest victim that we know of.
The 16-year-old who had to...
I was 16 years old reading that this person that I just helped get caught by the police killed herself. And I know exactly why FeGhost made that happen. Because I'm still in that fucking group chat, and I can go back and read all the shit she started saying after that.
Oh yeah, that's right! Oh, you dumb bitch!
Stupid.
Did you forget that, like, right after you claimed to us that Jess killed herself, you came in talking about how you wanted to kill yourself so we would goddamn coddle you? And for everybody in chat, that was a recurring thing. FeGhost guilted us, one, through the suicide, but guilted us into keeping her around through the implications that if her friends left her, she would kill herself.
Yes.
That's why we kept her around for so fucking long. Because we already thought that we'd led to someone ending their life, and we were terrified of that happening again.
Your literal first fucking messages after saying, I caught wind that Jess killed herself is, I feel like jumping out of a fucking window.
And I knew after that you had mental health problems, hence why I was fucking terrified
And guys,
Yeah.
it
to
gets
confront you
worse.
about this.
I know exactly why she wanted us to baby her that night. Because she was having relationship problems with her ex. So, she's having problems with her ex, and her solution is to come into this chat and just drop a bombshell and immediately let us all know that she's also feeling suicidal.
Mind you, this was at a point in the timeline where we thought everything had died down because Jess, the person who didn't exist, was in jail, allegedly. So we thought everything was fucking hunky-dory and solved. We thought everything was good. And then FeGhost comes in and is like, oh, by the way, Jess is dead. She killed herself. And then, months later, FeGhost starts this shit up again with another person who was allegedly still in the same camp as Jess, and then tells us, oh yeah, Jess may have had a point. I did sexually assault 2 girls at a party when I was drunk. So, oh, also, Jess was schizophrenic. And so now it became not only that, like, we helped FeGhost and that encouraged someone to game end themselves. Now it was, we bullied a schizophrenic sexual assault victim into game ending herself, and also FeGhost was lying the whole time, and actually she totally had reason to call them out.
And fun fact, I just thought I should point this out. The account that she's on right now is from December of 2019, during when this shit was happening. So she has another alt that she made from that time. How much fucking time do you have, bitch?
You have messaged me on alt accounts as well. I was the first person you messaged.
Oh yeah, 2 months after I made my
happened.
exposed video, she contacted Kylie on an alt account saying, FeGhost is walking outside in negative, 10-degree weather, and I'm so worried about them. Can you contact them?
Mm-hmm.
Do not fucking act like you have been on your own shit for the past year and a half.
The lies just keep coming.
You knew damn well what you were doing. This was calculation.
We were at fucking Disneyland while you were on Twitter screaming and crying about how we need to have these conversations about what you did, but we're putting it off. Bitch, we were on vacation. Which, fucking fun fact, is not even the first time that FeGhost has tried to start shit with me while I'm on vacation.
Mm-hmm. I was the person who tried to confront you, or at least discuss about the possible fact that you committed sexual misconduct, and you immediately were trying to paint Julie as the bad guy in the situation.
Oh yeah.
FeGhost was walking around behind the scenes talking about to others about effectively how Chuli was conspiring to take her down.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike, as if FeGhost was not perfectly fucking aware that she had convinced Chuli that not only someone had killed herself over 2 people had killed themselves over FeGhost, allegedly, but also that FeGhost was seemingly a sex pest.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the manipulative one. I'm the one plotting shit behind the scenes.
Like, geez,
Fuck
you so bad.
It's almost like you were preemptively trying to scapegoat Chuli because you already knew that people in the community were not big fans of her.
Again, not at first. She has a long history with trying to turn Kylie against me because I didn't like the shit that she was pulling. She is in FeGhost.
Oh yeah, the isolation of Kylie was also a thing.
Yeah,
seeing you choose Chuli over me, it was heartbreaking. Bitch, I was 16. Why were you threatened?
You were threatened. Oh yeah. Let me explain that. Let me explain that one. In 2019, you insisted on helping me with a traumatic situation I was going through, and when Chuli called you out, we tried to have a conversation about this. You immediately were trying to vilify Chuli, and that you were devastated that I chose Chuli over you to be a mediator for me. And that never changed, did it?
Because in the time span of, hey, I want to fix this traumatic situation, and that actually happened, you are being a bitch that entire time and manipulating Kylie, which is the screenshots that I used in the video of me trying to get you to go hey, you're manipulating my best friend. Can you cut it out? And you claiming that I'm fucking with you and gaslighting you. Holy shit. How deep this rabbit hole goes is crazy.
The grudge that you hold against a 16-year-old is clownery, and I'm the one that's named Clown.
Also, bitch, did you really say I don't know when he asked how old you are?
You don't know how old you are?
I know your birthday. I know exactly when you were born.
I'm sorry to ask this, as somebody looking on the outside looking in. Were you 16 when you were about to make the video, or was this when you were initially told?
I was 16 when I was told that this person I helped get caught killed herself.
And this was in 2019?
2019, yes.
Yes.
So, FeGhost, you would have still been, even if you can somehow remember your age and you're 26, Why are you mad over children, bitch? Like, why do you want them to be? Why are you that arse mad about kids being your friend instead of somebody else's?
For the grudge that FeGhost has had against a 16-year-old is baffling.
Why were you also on your YouTube channel saying that you don't care about my feelings towards you as a victim because I misgendered you apparently? Bitch, do you know who else is trans?
Everybody in the server, apparently.
Like an out they them who you knew was a they them for your entire fucking friend group didn't know your pronoun switch, and you use that as a justification to not give a shit about what they want from you?
Which was for you to leave, which you have not done, because...
Yeah, to get our names out your fucking mouth?
Yeah.
After you put us through everything that you already had?
Speaking of which...
Oh, but no, you just have to give an apology, or you have to message us at least once a week. Because that's all you want is our attention.
Funny that you can't fucking remember anything, but you can apparently remember an instance that definitely did not happen, where I apparently made light of the sexual assault story on a live stream? That never fucking happened, but you can apparently remember that happening enough to vilify me publicly.
You know, FeGhost,
Oh, you're not gonna say anything now?
You've been obsessed.
You've been real quiet.
You've been obsessed with talking to these people for so long, and now they're here. What gives you pause?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Oh, the baby is scared.
No, give them a moment to talk. Come on, FeGhost. You have the floor. What do you have to say?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it everything you wanted?
I don't know.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Okay. Then I have a question real quick. Ponder. The individual that they said convinced them to totes write an email. How much of that were they lying about in terms of time frame? Because you know better than me.
I would have to go double check my...
Well, I invited
notes
that person
with-
in here, but I don't think they're looking at their DMs right now.
I know about that conversation. I know about those conversations.
Yes, do you remember when that happened? Because
It was around the time that email was sent, and FeGhost, to that person's credit, she did say that she should try and give us closure. I don't think that she knew we specifically didn't want that. And also that she definitely didn't know that FeGhost had been bothering us that entire time leading up to that, including hopping in a random Google Doc about an old Spocter video that B made and crossing out her name all throughout the script.
I remember hearing about that.
And then acknowledging that in the email. It's like, this wasn't supposed to sound like a threat. So you knew that it sounded like a threat. And incidentally, as we have found out, FeGhost has threatened me through alt accounts before. Because the video that FeGhost put out admitting that, like, she did all of this fucking shit, there's an alt account that she acknowledges was her in there, and that alt account was an account that was tweeting at myself and a few other people, threatening stuff, including a knife.
FeGhost?
Oh, that
FeGhost?
one also contained a graphic as hell message that FeGhost wrote and then screenshotted. This is like the level of like batshittery, because she actually wrote messages and then used them to try and portray them as fake messages that someone else trying to cancel her made.
Yeah.
Which...
Oh, actually, also, the extent to her planning this shit goes a lot farther back than people realize. One, we know about that fucking account. And that account was preemptively trying to cancel FeGhost and was tweeting at us and shit. But also, FeGhost was leaking tiny little tidbits about the narrative that she was concocting to us in my fucking live stream server. Because I brought it up in the chat when we were going over this shit, when we thought we were helping FeGhost deal with false allegations. Because FeGhost had already been leaking little tidbits about how someone in her life was trying to hurt her.
FeGhost, are you listening?
Yeah.
Did you threaten people?
I
Don't
think
lie
I
to
did,
me.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you think that was an appropriate thing to do to people you've already harmed?
I wasn't.
What do you mean, wasn't? Because you clearly did it, so how did you not think it was appropriate to do it? Did you just flatly recognize that it was scummy behavior and just do it because, lol, might as well? Is that what you're trying to convince me of?
No, I was. I don't remember all of this.
Oh,
Of
convenient.
course you don't.
Of course you don't.
Not really. Well, I guess it's convenient, but I.
Yeah.
It is.
It's ridiculous. And instead of responding to
Utterly
these people that
ridiculous.
you have been obsessed with for a few years now, you're just sitting here being quiet. Do you think that's going to help anything?
Like, bitch, we're here. We're having the conversation that you've been whining about us not having for the past 2 years. The least you can do is fucking say something.
I had a feeling you were a coward because you always have been.
Actually, since the Spoctor thing was brought up, so for context, Spoctor came to me like just after this shit happened. I think it was in January or something. And additional context, December has for the last decade been the worst fucking time of the year for me, and basically all of my friends know that. Like a good chunk of my friends know that I deal with abuse in my home life and that December's not a good fucking time of the year for me. So after FeGhost traumatized me with the notion that, Jess had taken her own life and blah blah blah, Spoctor came to me basically being all like, yeah, I'm gonna be exposed for having CP. And I did not like that conversation, and I had to run this by Chuli, because Chuli reminded me of this. I didn't remember it happening. Weirdly, when you don't remember something, someone could be all like, oh, actually, you remember this? And when they bring it up, all of a sudden, those memories can come back. I fucking love that about the human brain. But one of the things that I did immediately after Spoctor came to me was I went into a call in my server with my friends, told them what Spoctor told me, and I asked for advice. And you want to fucking know who was in that call and who encouraged me to just let Spoctor get exposed and let the video gain traction?
FeGhost.
FeGhost actively told me that it was not my fucking job, that I was already too stressed, something, again, all of my friends knew, basically, that I was stressed as shit. FeGhost told me, it's not your responsibility to protect this fucker, which, yeah, obviously, and just encouraged me to let the video happen and let Spoctor be exposed. I don't know why the fuck that video didn't gain any traction, and eventually, because of the trauma you put me through, you stupid motherfucker, I forgot about that shit, because incidentally, that is how the brain works. When you're depressed and stressed and traumatized, and you smoke weed a fuck ton, and you have fibromyalgia, all of which are things that I have, yeah, it's really easy to forget things. So, conveniently, you seemingly forgot about the fact that you were actively telling people, yeah, don't do anything about this. It's not your responsibility.
Apparently it's mine. Which is fine. I'm fine with that.
Also,
I'm fine with that.
Bro, FeGhost, they waited, and the video was made well, finally, because Manus's video... The reason why, Ponder, why Manus's video did terribly is because it was just a terrible video. It was terrible. But the video actually eventually came, FeGhost. It came.
Yeah.
So why are you upset that the video came? The one that you said everyone should sit back and wait for.
I don't know.
of course.
I'm not upset that it did eventually come.
What?
Like,
You said in this call that it upset you, you turbo dork?
No frontal lobe.
It did for like
You forgot.
it did for like I don't know, probably like a few hours after the video released. I made the friggin' dumb tweet and deleted it, and then I
Let's not
thought
sugarcoat
about
it.
it
You
for
didn't,
the next week.
let's not sugarcoat this nonsense. You didn't make a dumb tweet. I make dumb tweets. My dumb tweets are at least funny. Yours wasn't a dumb tweet. You were literally mauling and pissing in the club because a video got made on Spoctor owning child porn. And now you magically can't remember why you were upset. Are you a colicky baby? Is that what this is?
Well, actually, no, not really. FeGhost said why. They wanted people to be able to benefit from it not coming out.
And
But apparently behind the scenes, you know, the same scenes where you tell people, where you tell us that you want it to be spread around, behind those same scenes, you're there going, guys, just don't worry about it, just forget about it, just don't look at it, just don't forget it, just let it happen, just let it go public, just let someone else make it go public. That's what you do behind the very scenes that you want Lio to just push this around privately to. What the fuck?
Also, something really fucking funny that happened is, in my eyes, FeGhost was already on thin fucking ice when she came back to Twitter to talk about the call that she gave Lio. But, you know, I was like, I'm just fucking mind my own business if this bitch does not bring us up again, because Lord knows she can't leave us alone. The very next fucking day, she comes back to make a sympathetic tweet about herself and how the trauma that she caused us was just a psychosis episode that she had when she was suicidal, and she didn't mean to hurt anyone but herself.
Seems to be the...
What is this
No
Joker level
provocation.
nonsense?
No provocation. This bitch cannot help but discredit the harm that she did to us.
Says a lot that you're just like, I didn't intend to, and you refuse to acknowledge what you actually did. Because, FeGhost, what you actually did was take 3 friends who you damn ass fucking knew already suffered from mental health issues. And, like, I can't speak about Kylie and Chuli, but I think we all knew that I am stressed as fuck on a daily basis. You took 3 friends who were already in that state. You manipulated them into believing that they were terrible fucking people, and you made those friends, upon, like, questioning whether or not they had any right to exist, keep you around and coddle you, because otherwise you were gonna end yourself.
Well, you don't understand.
Like, you want to get mad that... Sorry.
You don't understand. You see, Commissioner Gordon, I had a bad manic episode. That's why I killed the entire hospital of children 5 times. It was an oopsie. I had a bad mental health day, Commissioner. Why is Batman about to punch me? It's that type of logic.
Like, you want to talk about... You want to be fucking mad that Lio called you a freak. I don't know about you guys. Sounds like pretty fucking freak behavior to me.
Oh, absolutely.
How many alts do you have, dude?
Oh, so
Like, is it 20 or is it more?
Yeah, probably about 20.
you
Fucking
answer that
freak.
question.
Why,
Fucking
though?
freak.
So you answered that question, but you've been dead fucking silent throughout the rest of this. Good fucking
Tomato,
job.
tomato, tomato, tomato.
You know what?
If
That's
it-
actually hilarious, because, like, FeGhost is all like, oh, I forget everything, forget everything.
But you know
You're clearly
that.
not forgetting all your fucking alt account passwords, you dumb bitch.
No, I kind of used the same password for a lot
Okay,
of them.
Okay,
Good job.
since you're finally answering questions, I do have one that somebody wants to know. With people who you're talking to, because it seems that you really can't stop trying to talk to people who you used to be friends with, are you still in contact with people like Junkie, Chaos, or Spoctor?
No.
Awesome. Because I just wanted to know why you were suddenly upset why a video came out about Spoctor, but thank you.
Spagator. This duck on stupid.
Oh, there was that third apology video you made
Third?
that never got published. That
I'll get over you.
I'll get
know I
over
will.
you.
I'll pretend my ship's
is not sinking.
Uh,
Yeah, for anyone wondering, that tap dancing thing that Lio brought up, yeah, in her third apology video where she talks about how she traumatized all these people and the call about CP, she just ends the video off with a little fucking flip-a-clip animation of her FeGhost Sona dancing around to
Go West
King of
version.
Wishful Thinking.
Yeah. It's so cringe. It's just like, oh my god, tell us that you
Cringe.
miss us and you're not over the fact that we've dumped you as a freak without telling us that you miss us and you're mad at the fact that we dumped you as a freak.
And I actually have to ask,
'Cause
real quick, FeGhost, when you sent me that and asked me about it, did you actually at any point in like the depths of your ignorance think I was going to tell you that you should post it?
Nah, I mainly just made it for catharsis, I guess.
Well, you wanted to publish it, so how is that catharsis if you wanted to publish it? And that was the main reason.
I
Of course.
didn't actually want to publish it.
FeGhost, do I need to start asking you what you do know so we can narrow it down?
Yeah. What
Probably.
do you know? Do you know where you are right now?
Yeah.
Are you even paying attention to Discord, or are you checking something else? Because I feel like that's what you're doing.
No, I'm just sitting here.
Oh, should I also mention that, like, during the time that this whole narrative was going on, FeGhost was also creating aspects of the narrative that made us think that FeGhost was in physical danger, not just from herself, but from other people.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
FeGhost
Because
lied and said they
was
got
also
broken
a part
into.
of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
she part of her narrative was that somebody had broken into her house, stolen an old phone that had a bunch of her accounts on it, which, in fairness, was when I started questioning, like, I think FeGhost might be fucking with us. And it wasn't until the Jess suicide thing where I was like, you know what? I feel bad for questioning whether or not FeGhost was fucking with us, because a friend wouldn't try to convince me that I killed a girl. A friend wouldn't do that.
You're right.
And FeGhost is my friend.
A friend didn't do that. A freak
Yeah,
did.
well,
Fucking predator.
Fucking degenerate would.
but like she went, like, she made this whole bit in the narrative where she went out when she was like allegedly at 2 a.m. to go trudging through the snow to go confront people she thought might have her phone. She made up this bullshit that like Jess was coming to get her and that Jess was trying to track her down and shit.
Literally like live tracking. She got on her alt while on vacation and had a full-blown conversation with B, which is what I call Ponder for anyone who's confused. Like about like asking where's FeGhost? Where is she? I need to know. I need to see her. Where is she? I found her location. Thank you.
Yeah,
So she
basically,
literally ended it
exactly.
off by saying, I know where she is. Thank
So, hold on. So what I'm hearing is I have accidentally plagiarized FeGhost with the whole I'm in your walls, I'm in your walls, I'm in your walls thing.
Yes.
Yes, you have.
you. Yeah.
Yes,
Goddamn
You're
quite
plagiaristing
actually.
How dare you?
Oh no. James Somerton 2.0, what are we gonna do?
And by the
Okay.
way, sorry.
Oh, sorry, you finish your thing first.
About in that same conversation, FeGhost actively fucking encouraged B to mock the girl he would later have kill herself so that she could get sympathy and babied and coddled over her relationship issues.
Yeah, so thanks for that. I thought for 2 years I laid awake at night, terrified to sleep because of the fucking nightmares I would have, thinking that I had bullied a schizophrenic sexual assault victim into ending her own life. Thank you for that. I totally fucking needed that in my life.
And you know, the sad thing
I
is,
just got-
FeGhost, you're in here, finally getting your wish. You're in call with the people that rejected you a long time ago. You did this goofy email, which, by the way, I know what happened there, just so you're aware. And instead of actually giving them answers, you've gone hush mode on everything but how many alt accounts you have, because I guess that's important to you. So now you not only have traumatized
Well-
these people. Go ahead.
Yeah, because, like, we've gone through that. I just want to know a final thing. Like, listening to all of this stuff, it's either the most... Well, regardless of whether it was calculated or not, I do believe that you do have, like, not saying this to be derogatory, but, like, genuine, like, mental issues. And I just need to know, have you actually, like, gone to therapy and actually tried to speak to people about this rather than just going on Twitter? Because with how much you have to think about it and how long you've known that you've had these issues, it's just irresponsible at this point to have not been trying to get help.
I have been going to therapy pretty regularly.
Then why didn't you ask a therapist whether you should be reaching out to these people?
I did ask them,
And what did she say? Oh, they say. Shouldn't really assume who they're.
yeah, they said that I should try to maybe clear things up.
Okay, then I have to
but
ask a
I
question.
don't know.
Did you actually fill them in on the full scope of what you did? Because you've been telling us this whole fucking time you don't the shit that you did. So that tells me, if that is true, guaranteed you're not relaying the full scope of what you did to your therapist. Because
And
otherwise,
also-
no responsible therapist would tell you to reach back out to us.
I did tell them what I did to you, and that I did understand that you didn't want to talk to me again, and didn't want anything to do with me, and didn't want were like, I understand why you're mad about it.
You know, I'm just gonna
And I
be.
understand.
I'm just gonna be this.
No, because this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I know that I'm not gonna sit here and start defending you, especially not in front of the people who you fucking who you fucked over.
Thank you.
But I'm saying this because even if you never, even if they block you and they can go on about their lives and forget you exist eventually, but if you're not relaying the issues, that's dangerous to literally everyone, including yourself. And you know that you have issues, and you're stumbling over yourself saying, well, I relayed this or I relayed that. You went around pretending allegedly that you were a predator on alt accounts, that you sexually assaulted people, and
That's
you're
what I
threatening
did tell
people.
them that.
You do realize that it's actual dangerous behavior. If you went around in the real world and someone had a whiff of you being one of those things, you're not gonna wake up the next day.
Actually,
Do you not think about that?
FeGhost is scared of that. They admitted that to me.
Then why don't you seek proper help rather than going to some quack who tells you, oh, just go back on the internet where you're clearly fucking everything up and try and talk to them.
Oh, here's
You
where
need to get actual help.
Oh, here's-
And I'm saying that because it's just kind of sad, because again, it doesn't excuse any of your behavior, but listening to you, it sounds like you do have genuine mental health issues, and the fact that you're just not you're just not doing anything, or no one who you live with is forcing you to do anything about it, is just kind of sad, because you could have came out this not as someone who would then be able to speak to these people again. You wouldn't be able to do that. It's the bridge has been burnt. But you could go out and then just make a whole new life for yourself after getting proper help. But it seems that you're just allergic to that. You would rather have people just tell you what you want to hear. You go and ask people for advice, and if they don't give you the advice you already wanted to hear, you're going to shut it down and go elsewhere, and that's not going to help you. And that's why I think that you can't just say it's your mental health's an excuse when it's gotten to the point of calculated behavior, and you're shutting down any kind of avenue for help if it's not the easy way out. And you know what? If you need to get yourself out of a rut, especially this kind of rut, you need to put some fucking effort in. You can't just go, well, this year I haven't done anything bad. You haven't done anything at all. So yeah, that's barely an accomplishment.
I got a question, about a certain distinction I want you to make to me, FeGhost.
Okay.
You're saying you're telling your therapist this, but every time I see you retell the story of what you did to us, it is in the most bullshit, sympathetic, self-pitying light you can muster.
That was
And
I
I
actually
know,
wanted to bring that up. Sorry,
Mhm.
when you're done, I will go further into that.
and I know you gave that same sob story to Lio, because when I talked to him, he started things out telling me that when he got into a call with you, you told him the reason why you did everything is because, oh, you just wanted to be canceled. You wanted to be hated by everyone because you hated yourself, and you just couldn't stand, not being, like a terrible person. You wanted everyone to think you were so bad. When you fucking punished me forever thinking that. You harassed Kylie for a goddamn month because you thought I was actually gonna cancel you because I was suspicious of you after being sexually harassed by adult men myself. God for fucking bid, I reassess how I feel about you after that. And
Wait,
you tried to turn my friends against me. So you didn't want to be canceled? Because the one time you thought someone might actually be doing that, you tried to turn everyone against them and try and force your way into their DMs.
Ew. Gross.
you knew that if people found out about this, you would be fucked. That's why you made my life a fucking living hell for a month, because I dared to question if you committed a fucking crime and tried to paint Truly as the villain.
Equally, a thing that abusers tend to do when their victims have finally distanced themselves from those abusers, one, they often cry suicide, so we can tick that box off. But another thing that they tend to do is flip the narrative on those victims to make the victims look like assholes. And that is exactly what FeGhost has done in every single one of her fucking retellings of this situation, because every time she retells the situation about what happened, she completely negates, one, the order of events as it happened, but also literally all of the abuse, gaslighting, and manipulation that went into keeping us silent and having us keep her around. Every time she tells the story, it's, I told my friends that I sexually, I groped two girls at a party, and like one of them killed themselves, and my friends stayed my friends, and they protected me because they were friends. That makes us sound like a bunch of fucking jackasses who protected an active predator, and that is not how that went down, and you damn ass fucking know it. And if your memory is so terrible that you can't remember that is how that went, then why the fuck are you talking about it?
If you seriously can't fucking remember key details of your calculated actions, you just need to shut the fuck up.
Like,
For
she's
once in
masking...
your goddamn life.
She's masking it under the, oh, my friends were so nice, they weren't mean to me, and they protected me, and blah, blah, blah. But the narrative spun to literally anyone who isn't us and wasn't involved makes us sound like we were protecting you despite knowing that you were a sick freak. And not that we were actively being manipulated into keeping you around because we thought we had already killed someone, and we were worried it was going to happen again if we dumped you.
Not to mention that when Kylie and I finally did block you, you went to every fucking person under the sun's DMs to whine about it.
Including me. I've got screenshots.
Yup, and sob and cry about how we all blocked you for having a mental breakdown, and you couldn't imagine why anyone did do this to you. We're such, good friends, like in sarcasm. You literally said, I'm so traumatized by this. What good friends. Did you think we just fucking forgot the shit that you told us? I mean, evidently you must have, because you didn't want us to talk about it ever, and you made us, like, you would not stop harassing us about how fucking paranoid and suicidal you felt when I was sus about you. And it wasn't until you finally stopped hounding Kylie that I thought, okay, you know what? I'm gonna drop this. I was literally trying to graduate high school while you were doing that. Bitch.
In fairness, I'm speaking from experience here. That is something that manipulative liars do. They do actively count on you forgetting, and if you don't forget, they try to gaslight you into making you think that it didn't happen. That is something.
Motherfucker.
I have a
Yeah,
question.
so
Oh, go ahead, Peaches.
before you start asking other questions, I do want FeGhost to actually explain why they wanted to spread the story around as if like all these people that they manipulated were just happy to have a sexual assaulter around. Because I can tell you right now that FeGhost was in a call with us, and they were really fucking happy with themselves to sit there and make it sound like people like Spoctor were like, fucking Spoctor? Ponder was like fucking, well, Spoctor probably would, but Ponder would like be perfectly fine with hanging around a sexual assaulter. So would you like to elaborate on why? Because that doesn't sound like someone who's sorry. That sounds like somebody who knows they've fucked up, so they like to drag other people down with them.
That sounds like you're trying to do more damage.
Mm-hmm.
Golly gee.
Unsurprising.
So can you answer, FeGhost, or have you forgotten as well as your fucking age?
What's the what was the question again?
What was the question? Why don't you rinse out your fucking ears, stop thinking about different alt accounts to make, and start listening to the conversation? Why do you want to go around and start saying that the people who you manipulated are perfectly happy being around sexual assaulters like you? You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I just don't.
FeGhost.
You don't remember? Is that it? You don't fucking remember?
No,
Did
don't
your
have
brain for
the
gore
words.
again?
I don't have the words to
Oh,
explain it.
don't even play that game. That strategy is not going to work here. You're not in the Cloud Palace. You're not in some soft woo kitten baby Discord server. You specifically asked for a Senate call, so you're going to get treated like that. And if you'll notice, FeGhost, I haven't yelled at you. I haven't screamed at you. I could. I've just raised my voice and told you off for being stupid. So whatever it is you are doing to try to cope with the fact that you're finally being directly confronted for your nonsense, I suggest you put it down, because it's not going to help you. You finally have the opportunity for once in your miserable life to make good on something, to at least give these people some form of closure. And instead, you're trying your best not to. So I'm going to be a little mean, and I have one real quick question before I let people continue to talk to you. Is the therapist one of your alt accounts?
Figure switching between
No.
accounts to talk to herself.
Then you need a different one.
Yeah, but no, seriously, FeGhost. We're gonna sit here in silence, and we will wait, because I think that you owe everyone who you've fucked around with an actual response. So everyone get out your fucking drawing pads, put some music on, we'll wait for FeGhost's brain to start working, because they've waited, what? How long has it been? A good long time.
Total
Since
of 4 years.
2019.
5 years.
I'm pretty sure that, we can wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, and she's had words all up until today.
You're
Yeah,
so vocal.
I have.
So we'll sit here and wait for you to answer the question.
What's your thoughts?
I yeah. So going from the oldest kind of thing, most of the time that I was around the whole like commentary community thing, I was not I was not enjoying myself, and like before the whole like 2018 thing happened where I was like talking with stories and before that I didn't really have that many like problems. So then once the whole Spocker thing happened, I went to talk with stories, and they kept me up until like 4 a.m. talking to me about just so many things that just eroded my brain into whatever. And at a certain point, I just kept thinking, like, this is whatever. This is whatever. This is whatever. And at a certain point, everything just started mixing together. And at a certain point, I just stopped thinking about what I was doing. And I kept making alts and saying stuff, just pulling random stuff out of my ass. And I just had no regard for anybody's feelings or states or whatever. And that entire time, whatever stories was saying to me just kept echoing and rattling around in my brain, and I just submitted myself to whatever the thought process that she had, and she just kept doing, I just kept doing that bad shit.
Okay,
And
so
I'm
may I ask a
sorry.
question before you continue, just to have some clarification?
Yeah.
Okay. First off, what? And second, Stories' age has been spread around a million different things. How old was Stories?
Stories was 14 when the
Yeah,
Spocker
like
thing
14.
happened.
Okay.
But by 2019 was probably closer to 16 or 17.
Okay, so how old would have you been if you remember FeGhost?
Probably about like 20, 21.
What in
Okay.
the world?
So I just wanna ask, just for clarity then. You're blaming the venting of a 16-year-old on all of your bad actions.
Not all of them.
But this is the inciting incident.
This is the inciting. Well, part of it's the inciting incident. I've had.
Okay, I'm gonna let you continue to. Yes, I'll allow you to continue to cook. Then I know people probably want to say something to that, but I want to hear where this goes. So continue.
Me too.
Okay. Yeah. So that was kind of the inciting incident that kicked off the whole self loathing campaign. But before that, there was a bunch of stuff that happened in high school that I just obfuscated from my brain, and there was a whole bunch of stuff before that that I am not a big fan of, that I don't revisit. Oh my god.
It's okay. Take your time.
Actually, while she's thinking about that,
Oh my god.
What?
Nice.
I would like to point out the note about, like, oh, Stories kept me into a call way up late into the night. I am assuming the implication is that, like, you were sleep deprived and, like, stories as words had more effect on you because you were sleep deprived, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, do I need to fucking point out that you did that very thing to us when all of this was going down? Because there were multiple fucking nights where we were up for hours discussing this stuff and looking into it. Like, there were weeks where I was going to bed at 4 a.m. every single fucking night because I was trying to help you.
I'd be up till 1 a.m. on fucking school nights, dude.
I perpetuated it.
Oh, really?
Well, so I just
Go ahead.
So I just need to know, like, one, you've not even answered the question that we were waiting for, and I'm starting to get a little bit bored. But like, so you've not answered why you still want to continue to now frame all these people as people who'd be willingly happy to defend sexual abusers and all of that stuff. So that's cool. But then you've now admitted to at least 2 kids just being roped into this, and one of them, like, I know Story's done a lot of shit, but sometimes they just get roped in by adults like you and Pentagram, and I kind of start feeling sorry for them a little bit here, because, like, how the fuck is Story's the reason why you're there going, I sexually abuse women and you people need to help me, otherwise I'll kill myself?
Imagine a little girl causing a Joker arc.
I apparently caused her to go fucking off the rails when I was 16, so it's not a fucking surprise.
That doesn't. I need to. Just please let me just for a moment. Hold on. Who texted me? Okay.
This is really torn up about 16-year-old.
I have to know how were you at 21 years old? You got this literal child, little girl, itty bitty baby thing. Were they talking to you about suicidal ideation or something? What was the conversation actually about? Tell me.
A lot of the conversations kind of went back and forth between, like, not exactly like suicidal ideation, but basically kind of the whole self-destruction.
Okay, so thank you. Why was your initial response not get the child help, talk to their parents? It was sit and call till 1 a.m. and consume and
4 a.m.
or 4 a.m. consume and absorb their jokerisms into yourself as a literal adult. The day an actual child like influences me to the point where my entire mindset changes, Peaches just needs to old yeller me like immediately, because I've been taken over by the pod people, and to you this is acceptable. So number one, I'm not happy at all. I mean, obviously I never am, but I'm not happy hearing that you didn't just sit there with 1 literal child, but 2 minimum at this point that were around you when you're a sicko, regardless of if you've actually done the things you claim, which we're out to lunch on that, because it's weird that you claim it to begin with, but now you're trying to pin your consistent behavioral issues on a conversation with a 14-year-old little girl. It is maddening. It is dumb. And if children were, why is it children are always involved with you weirdos? Like, I can't have a single call where I just make fun of a dork. It's always got to be children being put in harm's way. I hate you for that particularly. Like, just want to go ahead and say that. But at the same time, you're a freak. You are just plain old-fashioned freak. Jeez Louise. And then you can't even sit here and give these people actual answers. The 14-year-old did it, guys. I swear. They Joker pilled me. I'm on the black pill because a 14-year-old little girl said, like, emo stuff to me. Holy crap, you're pathetic.
He said, let me copy your homework.
Which is also sad because, like, I'm not here to start playing excuses for like stories with some of the shit they did, because like kids don't understand the 3-dimensional thinking, but they do know when they're causing harm to people. But the fact that you didn't see this kid having such distress and not trying to help them integrate them way back. I know that was it Atari the name was, with the whole Spoctor situation? They were able to like have help to come out and start talking. Why didn't you try and help them integrate into talking to other people so they're not feeling as stressed out or have internalized in them? Why sit there and help them internalize it all by going, yeah, you're so right, let's go Joker baby on all of them? Like, why would you do that?
I wasn't
like, even
trying
if-
to like help them
Well, I can see
internalize
that.
everything. I was trying.
I can see what helping. But it's just really sad, and I just have to be that person to not speak for stories, but just feel bad for them a little bit, that they got pulled into a situation with Pentagon, who was in their 20s, to be encouraged to do something that a 14-year-old wouldn't even understand like the weight of. Like, I'm literally seeing a lot of kids right now doing a very similar thing, and they don't understand the weight of it. And then you see that, and you're just like, nah, I'm not gonna help. I'm just gonna make it worse. And it's just actually just really sad. It's really sad.
I was trying to get stories, like some sense of help. I was asking them about like
Your
therapy and
version,
stuff.
you can't even help yourself. That's the thing. If you can't help someone, I'm not asking you to sit there and help them.
Oh, yeah.
That's not my point. My point is that you were encouraging this behavior. You're then sat here in present day saying the 14-year-old did it, and instead of going, okay, my limitations are my limitations, I can't help, so let me reach out to someone who I think could help. Or maybe ask stories, have you spoken to your parents about this? And just, give a minimum thing. Not sit there until 4 a.m. listening all night long to Joker bullshit. And then internalize it and then use them as a scapegoat. Because we're not in 2018. We're not at a point where a load of people don't even know the ages of these people and don't understand what's going on and pissed off about the initial action. We're here in 2023. People aren't going to sit there and go, yeah, to hell with kids. Like, I hate them, whatever. We're just going to sit there and go, what the fuck? You saw a kid who was already in such a terrible headspace, a home situation, or whatever the hell brought them to doing whatever the fuck they did in 2018, who was encouraged by other deranged adults, already in a really bad space, and you go, let me just pile onto that. It's horrible. And I just wanted to say that because I'm just like, I know that there's so many other things that you've done, but I think that even back then, before you did any of this, the fact that you were already capable of sitting there and encouraging a 16-year-old who's gone through the shitter to sit there and be all Joker with them is already a terrible thing a person would do. Never mind everything that came out afterwards. And then you sit here not even thinking about the fact that it makes you look terrible. As just like, yeah, it's the kid's fault. Fuck you. That wasn't your Joker moment. You were already like over the edge by that point. Don't give me that.
This little tidbit actually reminded me of 2 things. One of those kind of crazy, but I remember because the whole reason, because we kind of knew that FeGhost was talking to stories, we didn't know the extent, but I remember that she had such a fucking hero complex back in that day, because that is the exact reason why she was so heartbroken when Kylie chose me over her.
Oh yeah.
Because she was obsessed with being there, and she would guilt Kylie for not letting her into situations that had nothing to fucking do with her, because it meant that she didn't get to have like the badge of honor as like, hey, I helped you. And that's why she was so pissed when she was specifically asked not to involve herself with the traumatic situation that Kylie was dealing with. So I fully believe that carries most of why she was friends with Stories, because she probably wanted to be seen as, oh, the person that fixed her, the person that helped Stories and turn things around. Because that is exactly shut the fuck up. That is exactly the kind of image that she loved for herself back in the day. Probably still does. Bitch. You said it. You don't know fucking anything, and now suddenly you know how you felt 5 fucking years ago. Shut your dumb ass up. Anyways, the other crazy thing is that it actually wasn't 2 minors, it was 3.
Excuse me?
Because one of my friends, who's about half a year younger than me, I told her when I was coming to make the video, because I was telling everyone what FeGhost had been doing to me, and she goes, oh yeah, I remember way back in 18 or 19 when I used to try and hang out with you guys, that one night in a call, she told me that she contributed to this person's suicide in middle school.
Wait, middle school? Oh, so the story changed again.
The story always fucking changes.
Oh my god.
She's like, yeah, she told me this, and then the next day, she went into my DMs and was like, did you tell anyone? I can't remember if it was DMs or a call. And she was like, no. And she was like, good. And then she did that same thing that she did to me, where she would follow them around in the call and
so
camp herself.
Is a narrative. This is a narrative she'd been working on for a while, and she was fine-tuning that shit.
She was camping herself out in the server that we all hung out in to make sure we didn't say anything in there.
Oh, wait. Fucking her being all like, oh, I kept trying to shut it down every time it came up. That's also a fucking lie, because she tried to start that shit up again and make more accounts, making more accusations against herself in those 2 years where we were keeping her around.
Well,
she was prepping to do it again.
It was literally once she found out that I was feeling suspicious about her, she made another Google Doc. She showed it in the screenshot of, I think, her most recent video, and I was able to transcribe the thumbnail, and it was basically just yeah, she's a pedo. So she was getting ready to try and expose herself again, but at the same fucking time was making my life and my friend's life hell and trying to turn my friends against me because I was suspicious. Make up your fucking mind, bitch.
They're not going to, because the story they gave me was completely different too. They told me that all of this, every incident, every single one, was part of an ongoing manic episode that would be triggered every time it got brought up, and that's why they never cleared it up. And for the record, FeGhost, that is recorded.
And
He's having a manic episode playing Among Us. Fuck off.
Go ahead, Peaches.
Yeah, I want to ask then just the final question on my part, because I don't want to keep butting into people, I'm sorry. But I just want to ask then, this lie that you were spreading around, giving you the benefit of the doubt that it's a lie, did you say that to see how your friends would react to defend you?
No.
Because it sounds like you were happy spreading that around on alt accounts and then encouraging them to... Well, I don't think you had to encourage them to defend you, but encourage them to keep going harder and harder at it. And then even when you're still trying to push that around, the moment that the people who you see as your friends start to doubt you, that's when you get mad at them.
Yeah. It was a really back and forth kind of thing.
Because it sounds to me like you wanted validation. And you wanted to see how far you could push the envelope.
Yeah. At points, yeah, I did want some kind of validation.
Why didn't you just go to them and say, I've got a bad... What? Then you kept going back and forth? What?
Then I kept going back to the self-destruction thing. And then I went back to validate. And then I went back to
you know what you do if you want validation?
You draw cute art like Clown Teeth does?
No, if you want validation, you go, hey, Lumi. Lumi. If you could unmute for me. Yeah, do you think I'm very self-conscious about my glasses. Do you think they look cool?
Kill yourself.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
No, I think they're great, man. You look great.
Thank you, baby. Mwah, mwah, mwah. There you go. That's what you do when you want validation. You just go, hey, I'm feeling a bit down right now. Could I please have some validation? Your friends aren't going to sit there and go, ew, gross. They're going to go, yeah, sure, like, and help you out. You don't need to start concocting massive scenarios just to bait them and see how they'd react to it.
The amount of the funny thing, I was trying to help FeGhost, like, because she was going on about how she wanted to make stuff outside of commentary and wanted to focus on her fucking music. I would tell her all the time, just focus on your fucking music, like, who gives a shit? Make a different account, like, just do that. I literally was trying to support their art that they were trying to make, but it was just never enough, I guess.
Oh, FeGhost also used to talk about how she couldn't afford therapy back in the day, but when I offered to give her money to go to therapy, she refused, so I started actively trying to hire her for editing more so that she would have the money to go to therapy.
Yeah, so...
So,
Wait,
like...
Is that,
yeah,
is that why you did that?
Yes!
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 Lol.
God.
And the
Dork.
crazy thing about that night, where she was like, oh, Jess killed herself, I feel suicidal. Let me actually go back and find her ending message off on that day, so you can see what little manipulative bitch this is. Just for reference, my whole body went up in goosebumps when I read that. I was literally fucking shook, because I was 16 years old. And at the very end, she basically refused us. Like, she dropped that she was suicidal. We tried to, like, immediately jumped in and be like, hey, we can talk to you tonight. We can get your mind off of things. Yeah. And she was like, well, I have to wake up early tomorrow, so I have to go to bed. Shut us down. I give her the suicide hotline. Kylie says, please just be safe. B says, please take care of yourself. And Jelly, as her fucking FeGhost, as her last message of the night, goes, no promises. And just leaves.
So, were you planning on going to work after you killed yourself, or was that just an afterthought? And yeah, I'm going to be a little bit of a dickhead about that, and I know it's probably going to get me a little bit of heat, but, like, that is just awful behavior. Just absolutely awful behavior.
Yeah.
Don't just sit here and yeah me like I'm a professor giving you some boring lecture study. What the heck is wrong with you? Good Lord.
No response.
No, you're going to
Yeah,
tell these people the
fine.
real reason. You're going to be honest with them. You're going to be honest with them for once in your miserable life. Why do you do this to
Okay.
people?
Mainly, I guess it was, part of it was to kind of manufacture a hate thing around myself. But at the same time, there were parts of me that didn't agree with it, and fought back against it.
Clearly not.
And I can
Clearly not.
understand.
Nothing fought back against it. Don't feed me that line. Don't you dare. Don't you dare sit here in a call full of people you've harassed, manipulated, emotionally destroyed, caused trauma to, convinced that they got someone killed, and sit here and talk about, I fought back. You didn't fight back against anything. You have zero impulse control. Do not try to feed me that. I am not the one. Not tonight, not ever. And then you finally have the chance to actually do a little bit of decency and let these people know what actually happened, and you're just trying to tiptoe around it, or you passive-aggressively try to argue with them about it. I know more about my thoughts. You don't know dick about your thoughts because you haven't been able to answer anything. Slack-jawed moron.
FeGhost never tried to fight against the narrative that she was like, that she wanted to build hate against herself in the sense that she was like coming clean or anything, or being honest about her feelings. By fight against, I can only assume that she means that she did epic dunking on her own alts. Because, yeah, when I got into DMs with one of her alts and it ratted out to me damning information about them, she made the alt go on Twitter and say some dumb shit just so that she could reply on the FeGhost account, "I'm not a predator, you absolute dumbass." But yeah, you wanted us to hate you, right? You wanted us to hate you, but the night where you made up all this shit that you wanted us to hate you over, you fucking dunking on your own, like, made-up ops.
It's all a role play.
This is why I just 100% think the entire reason you did this, because there's literally no other actual reason that you're able to give that makes a lick, a modicum, an iota of sense, is you liked having that power over people. Because here's what I do know about you, FeGhost.
Oh, she loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Pussy.
Aww. Oh, come
sorry, what
on. I was
happened?
going to ask her a question.
FeGhost left.
Oh,
No, she's
Oh.
here.
Oh, she's there.
Oh,
Okay.
you know what? That is alright, because I was
What?
gonna say, like,
Oh, wait, no,
at
she's still
some
here.
point.
She's still here, you idiots.
Huh?
I'm looking at.
Sorry, somebody said
Yeah,
she
no,
left.
no.
Somebody said she left, but go ahead.
No, she just doesn't have her roles, but she is still here.
Like in the call?
Oh no,
Yes.
she's in the call.
Okay.
No, she's in the call. I can see her.
I don't know why
Yeah, I
somebody
see her
said-
icon.
Don't know why somebody said she left, so I'll finish my thought real quick.
There you go.
I
Just to make
genuinely
it easier, I put them at the top of the chat.
Thank you. I genuinely think the reason you did it is because you liked having power over people. Because one thing I do know about you, FeGhost, you don't have power in your everyday life. This is the one place you did. That's why I think you did it. That's also why I think you like to hang around little kids. Because you're a big person to them. You have importance and status to them. Not around anybody else. Go ahead, Peaches.
Yeah. I should note that she definitely loved that power, because anytime she was I would start denying it to her, she would get really mad. And you say she's big. We also knew that she was physically very intimidating. She's a 6'4" tall person who she described as like a giant.
Because I did meet up with FeGhost in real life. I don't want to say like twice my size, but that's what it felt like.
I didn't know they stat crap that high.
And you're feeding us stories about assaulting people, and I can just imagine you and your giant frame cornering girls in a bedroom. What are they gonna do?
Peaches, you were trying to say something. Sorry.
No, I'm not saying anything.
I also just want to say, as the whole, like, I hated myself so much, this is why I did it. Bitch. First of all, I have had years and years of issues. My pretty much good chunk of my life had issues hating myself. I told you things about what I was dealing with. And the stuff, especially in 2021, the stuff that I was dealing with that made me, like, hate myself to the point where I wasn't letting go of the past because of how much guilt and shame I felt. And you want to know what I fucking did? I went to fucking therapy. Something that I'm pretty sure you gave me advice to do. Someone who hates themselves that much wouldn't go this level of calculated actions. And it was calculated. And you know it. You absolutely know that.
Yeah, and also you you don't hate yourself because you actually get real fucking angry when anyone doesn't like you. Because that's the whole reason why in your second apology, where fucking funny note, she complained that I released my video about her at a bad time for her. So sorry I didn't cater myself to you on exposing your abuse. I'm so sorry. My mistake. But at the end of that video, yeah, she went on a whole tirade about all the people that were not B Ponder or B Kylie and I, saying that she was a piece of shit. They could all go crawl in a hole to hide in because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're just little bitches. But she hates herself, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why the fuck do you hate people for suddenly hating you over the shit that you wanted them to hate you over? Like you make no sense. You don't have a brain. You have thoughts.
If I told everybody I killed my parents, and then they all were like, oh my god, I don't want to hang out with B, they killed their fucking parents, I can't then be mad that they're upset because they don't want to be around me because I killed my parents.
Yeah.
You know, in pretension that's a lie. You know, I can't tell a lie about killing my parents and then be shocked when people believe when I say it and they don't want to be around me. Words.
Yeah.
Also, I totally forgot to mention this. In her unpublished third apology, FeGhost compared her constant lying to us as like a tick from people who have Tourette's.
Forgot about that one as well.
That was fucking wild.
Basically, she tried telling us I couldn't control lying to you. You know, it was a tick. You know, it just happens. Bitch! No, fucking idiot. What you had is a bad habit that you were too stupid to fucking curb.
Because you're a compulsive liar and you have no impulse control. Clearly.
Dumbass. Dumbass.
Okay, I do have one question. I was gonna save it for the end, but I'm like kind of falling asleep and this is getting a bit repetitive. We're just pointing out the same shit. The fact that Feg is an absolutely pathological liar. Alright?
Yeah.
So I just have one question for you, Feg. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Alright, and I want an answer for that. So you made up that whole fiasco so you could fuck off, right? You know, nobody would reach out to you, all that shit. Yeah? Originally, at least.
Yeah.
Alright. So is that also your reason behind messaging Lio and asking for the Senate call? So people could get pissed off at you, you get some rage thrown your way, and you could vanish again?
Needs a little validation again.
Or,
I got
you know...
a question, actually.
hold on. I want her to answer this. Is this your
fine.
reason? Or do you have an actual reason behind why you added Lio multiple times, might I remind you, and then proceeded to be all, I want to get into a Senate call, and then you got your Senate call, and you didn't know what to say. What's your reason?
I mean, like, initially I thought it was just like recent stuff, but I don't know.
I have the reason.
Well, Lio, not FeGhost.
True.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
I didn't really have much of a reason, to be honest.
You didn't have that much of a reason.
No, not really.
Alright. Well, I've been very nice to you in this call, so that's gonna drop. Shut the fuck up with this bullshit excuses. Filled crap! And give me the actual reason as to why you wanted to be dragged in front of about 100 people. Like, why? Why would you even ask Lio to pull you into a Senate call, you fucking brainlet?
I was gonna try to talk about like some of my like thought processes and stuff. I wasn't like gonna try and like clear my name or anything. I was just gonna try to talk about it.
Right. Because to me, right now, you know what this reads as? fuck me over again to Electric Boogaloo, let me fucking disappear again after getting a bunch of hate. You're full of shit. I think.
I mean,
Chewie
like,
also had a
you
question.
can
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
come to
No, go
your
ahead.
conclusions and stuff.
But you're not going to give me a proper one, will you?
I don't know. Like, you
I don't
can
know.
try to, like, analyze whatever. I don't know. I'm just really tired of, just like I don't
You're so full of
I
shit.
I
You
don't
had
feel like this was
every.
just like a
No.
really productive at
Well,
all.
it would have been more productive had you decided to possibly, perhaps just maybe considered actually giving straight answers instead of going, I don't know.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
In
Go
what
ahead.
way were you expecting it to be productive? What were you trying to get out of this? Because
Yeah.
talking about something being productive means that you had some sort of expectations. So, what were your expectations?
My expectation was that, like, eventually at the end of the call, I would have been told to frig off and never show my face again, and I can just go back to living a life quietly, not doing much of anything.
Okay, now the
and-
obvious question to that: you have already been told that multiple times.
I have.
You keep refusing to do that. Like, are you expecting us to just want you back at some point, and you're just testing the waters to
Not
see
really.
when is appropriate? Okay, so then you know to fuck off.
Yeah.
You've been told to fuck off numerous times, and yet you just keep coming back. So what does that say about you?
Clearly nothing good.
Wow.
So you're aware enough of that, but you still can't come up with a cohesive sentence and give us straight answers.
guess-
It's just, I don't know.
A related question, which was the question that I had initially. Why did you go to Lio after I exposed your new Twitter account?
I just wanted to talk about it.
Oh no, I got exposed again.
Well, that is interesting, given that FeGhost was the one that brought up the shit from 2019. That was like something I immediately clued on, was that FeGhost started with the 2019-2021 exposed crap, which means it was on her mind. She was specifically wanting to talk about that.
It's like it's interesting that you hadn't said anything to Lio for like months, and then the second that I exposed that you were the Jelly Skelly account on Twitter, which I hope that like you have no friends from that account because God save them. Like that you immediately ran to him. Like did you think he was gonna disagree with me exposing you?
No, I just wanted to talk about it.
Interesting.
Okay, but that's the thing, is like, you wanted to talk about it. Say something about it. Like, so much of everything has just been, I don't know. Like, if you want to talk about it, fucking open your mouth and talk about it.
Okay. What do you want to know?
You're the one who had the questions and talking, doofus! You're the one that came to me after you got exposed on that account wanting to talk! And that's when I called you a freak!
Yeah, it's not what I want to know, it's what you want to talk about. Because again, you clearly wanted to bring it up, you wanted to get in here, you wanted to talk about it. That means you have things that you have been ruminating on. Explain what those things are. Talk about it.
I don't know. Initially, I felt like I hadn't like committed any crimes, but I'm gonna rethink on that.
Oh,
And because of that, like I just kind of felt like exposing that like account to people. It wasn't like I was trying to come back to my former community. I was just trying to be.
FeGhost, I'm not
little
asking what
account.
your I'm not asking what your purpose was in approaching Lio with the Spoxer video. I'm asking what your purpose was in approaching Lio now, recently, because again, you clearly wanted to talk about things. What are the things that you want to talk about? Like, did you just want to clarify to us that, like, you weren't releasing the video to try to get back into the community despite the fact that you keep trying to come back? Like, do you understand how that contradiction in behavior is maybe going to make us think that you're still lying?
Yeah.
do you think that like are you trying to insinuate that the Jelly Skelly account is harmless?
I mean, for the most part, it was.
So, you don't think having a platform when the whole reason why you got kicked off your first one is because you used your platform and connections within a community to manipulate people and convince them of horrible stories about yourself so that you could then harass them for years. You clearly don't look back on this situation in any other way than a very self-pitying version. You don't think that you going to another platform with other people who don't know what you did, you don't think you think that's harmless?
You know, I get where you guys are going, but like I'm not gonna let this scumbag run you guys around circles any further. We're 2.5 hours in. So the real reason why FeGhost wanted this call is because you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and read the DM. Petrus, pause.
Yes.
Yay.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
I said, what do you want? This is the second time you sent me another friend request. Because the first time they did, I responded by accepting it, sending a message, and removed them again. I said, you made your bed, you chose to keep being a creep, and frankly, at this point, I don't even think the story you made about yourself is made up. If it were, you wouldn't have menaced a kid to keep it from becoming public. I also know you're back on Twitter and trying to come back. Stay gone, freak. I have no desire to speak to you. And then there was the other day. What do you want? I was just curious how I chose to keep being a creep when I haven't really been doing much outside of making dumb crap on Twitter that I've since deleted on a YouTube channel that just has fan content on it. What aspect of that is creepy? And yeah, it's not made up, but in the way I specifically told you about I was in call with you, Lio, I really don't give a crap if I have to dive into Senate call and prove any sort of innocence on my end, but I really hate to just be told I'm a freak and crap without any, and I do mean any, backing to it. That's why we're here. Because they got mad I called them a freak.
No evidence to back it up. No evidence.
Just like when she said that, you know, having the abuser and manipulator labels had no right to exist on her. She bitched to Harley about that.
Oh, right.
Because she wanted Harley to stop talking about her too.
Delusional. Okay, so FeGhost loves power. FeGhost loves being coddled and attention. She likes being able to manipulate. She hates being seen as a bad person. She hates being insulted. I think we've summed her up as a fucking shitwipe. That's all she probably will ever amount to in life.
You know, if you took an issue with being called a freak, maybe don't be one. Because you see, I can call you a lot of things, but freak's what you respond to. Maybe it's because deep down you know you are one.
That's true. There has to be some merit in order to be offended.
Well, not
People are usually
necessarily.
more offended over things that they're self-conscious about.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that you have to have merit to it to be offended by something. It's more of the type of offense. And the fact that FeGhost wanted a Senate call not to clear things up, not to get closure, not to explain their actions, despite literally sitting in here for the better part of 30 to 40 minutes lying about why it is, because they can't even use their brain long enough to realize, I'm telling an obvious lie, and I'm going to get called out for this in literal text. No, it's because I offended them. I offended their sense of self-worth. Because I called them a freak. Angry internet man called them a freak, and therefore they must have vengeance. So, FeGhost, do you think you've proven that you're not a freak? You think you've given us the evidence of that? I'm curious.
No.
Why do you think that is?
Brilliant.
Probably because I've been talking in circles the whole time.
Actually, the quicker answer, which I know you struggle with, is because you are a freak.
Yeah.
You demonstrated that.
Mm-hmm.
You're a freak that, number one, I sure hope is not around other children. Because I don't trust you. Nobody should trust you. I couldn't trust you to pour water out of a boot if the instructions were written on the heel. You're that incompetent. And then you menace these people still, using Twitter accounts that you know you're going to be found on, because, let's be honest, you like the attention. It's the only way you feel alive now. Because what you had in this community once, you can never get back again. And you're mad about it. But the sad thing is, it's a bed you made yourself. You can't be angry about you making a bed poorly when you're the one who did it. I told you when you first came to me what you should do, and instead of doing that, you ignored it. You completely ignored it. And then you try to manipulate another person into agreeing with an action you already wanted to do, and you're trying to say that they pushed you into doing it? Into writing that email? Like I said, I know who it is. And you're lying. You didn't tell them everything. You're lying. And it's amazing to me that all you people who lie seem to think you won't ever get caught, even though you have been caught every single time. I'm going to get them this time, George. Watch me. No, you're not. You're freaking stupid. Has this call been everything you wanted it to be? Has this call been everything you wanted it to be, FeGhost? Are you being friends with these people? Are you being friends with these people again? And if you're coming here to try to use this server and me or these people as a form of self-harm, like, I don't consent to that, but at the same time, that's a you problem, not a me problem, and I won't make it a me problem. Because somebody who's willfully going around spreading information about them being a sexual assaulter, a predator, I don't want you around. It's why I removed you. It's why I called you a freak. And you can't get over that. You can't get over people not wanting anything to do with you. I'd call it sad, but it's just stupid. And you're stupid. To the people that have been affected by this scumbag, do you guys have anything else you want to get off your chest? Because this is going to be the last time we're dealing with this worthless piece of garbage.
Cool. I did want to ask, considering FeGhost, like, you know, freaks out when called a freak and, like, feels the need to talk about it and defend themselves just by being a freak, and the potential of that being a self-consciously acknowledged issue that they're, you know, self-conscious about, does that mean, like, them also defending themselves and freaking out when people imply that they're, like, a sex pest or a predator or anything? Could that also maybe be... Should we assume that?
I think so. I think it's safe to do it this time. Better question, Ponder. Do you have FeGhost's real information?
Surely I believe you do.
Cool.
I sure as hell do.
Cool.
Yeah, Julie, there you go. I had the phone number, but that phone is dead.
Well, I could pull
Dude,
it.
I got everything.
Okay, cool.
Julie got it.
So let me go ahead and make this clear. FeGhost, if you show your face around these people again, if you get any social media that interacts with these people or talks about them or anything, I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that information. And the world removing world stuff, the crashing down stuff is going to become a reality. Because the first thing I'm going to do... Actually, you know, it's not even going to be an ultimatum. First thing we're going to do is make sure there's a police report on you for the things you've claimed about yourself. Because I want that on record. Just on the very off chance that it's true. Because, no, I'm not okay with that. And those of you who have this person's information, make sure you get that done tomorrow. Real simple to do. Just call the police, give them what you have, and go from there. Just make the report. And we'll see if there's any merit to it. Because it wouldn't surprise me if that report gets made and we find out down the line, yeah, you sexually assaulted people. Wouldn't be surprised. Not in the least bit. But since you want to wear the clown shoes and the floppy ears and the makeup, we're going to go ahead and stick you with the nose and the shoes, too. Stick with these people again, Fago. See what happens. I'm not a commentary bro. I don't operate by their values. Do it again. See what happens. You don't get to dick with victims that you've hurt. You don't get to. Not today, not here, not around me. Screw you. You guys got anything else for the scumbag?
I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. She's evidently not going to get over us, but I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only thing I have is say that you're a fucking coward, and that's all you'll ever be. You won't make it anywhere. You are much braver in text because you don't know how to make a cohesive sentence. I have been in enough calls with you to know you don't think. You think you can use texting and DMing people as a front to make yourself seem like a big old tough scary person, but you're not. You're a coward and a liar. And you have fucked me up in ways that can't even comprehend now. And I'm pretty sure the reason why you wanted Lio's attention so bad was because you thought you could use him against us.
Was never going to happen, just so we're aware, because I have this.
I know.
I have an understanding of this thing called consent. It's very confusing to most people, it seems.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. I know you're smart.
I wouldn't say that.
So you're smarter than most people that I knew. So
That's
let's just say
horrifying.
that. I
Yeah,
got stories.
it is really horrifying.
Oh yeah, the stories I could tell you. But anyway. But yeah, you're never gonna make it as a musician. You're never gonna make it in life. You'll never be glamour. Get the fuck off the internet.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Fuck you.
All right, Fagos, you're dismissed. Leave.
Bye. Rip Bozo.
Can I shut the door?
Yes, you may.
Rip Bozo.
Stupid bitch.
That's what got me in trouble the first time. I'm gonna say
Ladies
this.
and gentlemen, all people in between. She gone.
Period.
Period. Slay.
I can
Working in the recording.
So yeah, Fagos not only knew about the porn, but actively told people not to look into it. No wonder she had a guilty conscience. I have my own criticisms for the actions of other people when this all happened a few years ago, but that's not going to be discussed here. I also find it fascinating that Fagos decided to just constantly mess with kids and blame them for her actions. Fascinating behavior, truly. But no, this call's purpose was to try and give closure to the people that Fagos hurt and traumatized. I genuinely hope that Ponder, Chuli, and Clownteeth got that closure out of this and that they can move on a bit better now. I think they all did fantastically in the call itself. In fact, you could say,
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
hey, what can I say? Bustin' makes me feel good. People like FeGhost exist in the online space. While mental issues can certainly be difficult at times to deal with, it's no excuse to treat people like FeGhost did, to terrorize people for your own sick desires of control. If you have a friend like FeGhost, it's best to leave them to their own devices, lest you be a victim of such cruel behavior. I'm glad Synod is a place where victims of actions like this can feel safe, even when confronting creeps like this directly. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Feel free to tell me what you think. If you want to support me, links to my Patreon and channel membership is in the description. You're also welcome to join the Discords. That's it for now. Take care, and have a happy holiday.